Can an air fryer toast bread? I'm going to test 5 foods you probably shouldn't cook in an air fryer. Some might work, some might not, but will it be any quicker? And more importantly, will it taste good? We're going to find out the answer to those questions as I test 5 foods in the air fryer that probably should not be cooked in an air fryer. The very first question is, can an air fryer replace a toaster? For this test, I think we're just going to use a good old standard piece of white bread. That way we can kind of tell how well or how burnt the toast is visually just by looking at it. So we're going to go 400 degrees for 2 minutes. And while we wait, let's test another breakfast staple, eggs. And let's find out if the air fryer is actually a time saver for making hard-boiled eggs. So for this test, let's see what the recommended time and temperature is for an air fryer. I looked up 5 recipes for hard-boiled eggs, and I went with the average. So 258 degrees was the average, so we'll call it 260. And 15 minutes was the average time, so we're good there. And then I also wanted to see, did they preheat the air fryer or not? And 3 of them did not, and 2 of them did. So we'll go with the majority and not preheat. So we'll put these in. And we'll check them out in 15 minutes. Okay, for the stovetop method, from putting the eggs in the pan, filling it with water, putting it on the stove, bringing it up to a boil, turning off the stove, covering it up, and letting it go for 10 minutes, and taking 2 eggs and putting them in an ice bath, took a grand total of 26 minutes and 38 seconds. So obviously, the air fryer is going to be quicker. We got our 2 air fryer eggs here. Actually, let's crack them first. Shell did feel a lot easier to take off compared to the stovetop ones. Same eggs, so no difference there. This one's about the same as the stovetop. I mean, it's coming off, but some parts are like a little bit picky. And then, yeah, look, I don't know if that's just like from burning or what exactly, but let's clean these shells off. Oop. Oh, there we go. That removed those little spots there. All right. All right, let's cut it open. Air fryer egg number 1. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at a yolk, and we'll grab a yolk from here. These got a little bit darker of a yolk. Like they're definitely the same consistency, right? They're completely hard-boiled eggs, right? This just almost, it's not green like you would see if you overcooked. This one kind of is. So these might have been actually a little bit overcooked, but regardless, the air fryer eggs took a lot less time. You didn't have to boil water or wait for water to boil and then wait 10 minutes for the eggs to cook and then cool down. You literally just stuck them in the air fryer and hit start. So I'm actually very surprised how well the air fryer does hard-boiled eggs. So now that we tested the eggs, let's check back in with the toast and see the results. Okay, the 2-minute toast is done. Let's take a look. Not bad. A little bit of browning. Definitely dried out toast. So I actually did several pieces of toast, all at different times. So why don't we take a look? Okay, 6 pieces of toast. There's our 2-minute toast right there. We have 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, and 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes obviously is really, really brown and very, very dry. Not good toast. Maybe good if you're making breadcrumbs though. But actually, the 3-minute toast might be even better for breadcrumbs because it's just, none of it's really burnt, at least as much as the other piece. 2.5 minutes has a good golden color to it. I think the best golden color overall. It still feels a little too hard. The 2-minute toast, which I thought would be the perfect toast, is, not as colorful, and it's got a little bit of play to it. Like, it wouldn't be a bad piece of toast, especially if you're going to put butter or jam on it or whatever. Now, the 1.5-minute toast almost feels exactly the same as the 2-minute toast. A few softer spots, but still toasted and a little crispy. The one that actually feels the best to me is the one with barely any browning to it at all. It's still got a lot of play, but is still definitely a toast texture. And I think if I was just looking for toast to go with some eggs and sausage or whatever, throw a little butter on, I think the 1-minute toast is the winner. You actually might have a preset on your air fryer for toast. My air fryer presets that I've tried aren't all that great, except for the Pop-Tart preset. That one is actually perfect. So for toast and Pop-Tarts, yes, I think an air fryer actually could replace a regular old toaster. But now I think we should try some meat. Let's see how well an air fryer can cook ground beef. I know you can cook meatballs in the air fryer. I've done it. I actually have a recipe video you can check out if you're interested. But how about just straight up ground beef? I got 1/2 pound of ground beef right here. And we'll break it up a little bit as we put it in. This is preheated to 400 degrees, by the way. And I think 10 minutes should do the trick. But we're going to check in after 5 minutes and take a look. There we go. All right, so it's been 5 minutes. Let's take a look. All right, so it's cooking pretty good. Just kind of stir it around. Check out, make sure there's nothing pink in there. And it actually looks like it's, well, yeah, it does need a little bit longer, but not too much. And you also want to make sure you're not using like a metal spatula or anything. You don't want to scrape the inside of your air fryer, so use something silicone. Okay, that's pretty darn close after 5 minutes. I say another 2 minutes. Okay, so that answers the question, right? You can cook ground beef in the air fryer, but does it make sense to do ground beef in the air fryer? So I just don't see any benefit of actually doing this in the air fryer. It was only 1/2 pound, so a pound of ground beef would probably take a little bit longer, but I don't think this is any quicker than doing it, say, like on the stovetop. However, I did see a benefit cooking meatballs in the air fryer, but straight up ground beef for like tacos, unless you don't have a stovetop, you really shouldn't cook it in the air fryer. Ground beef isn't the only meat we're testing today. I feel kind of weird saying this one, but how well does an air fryer cook steak? All right, it's been 6 minutes. Let's take a look. Okay. It got a nice browning on the edges so far, at least. Not really on the top. But we're going to give it a flip. And go for another 6 minutes. Alright, so there's still 2 minutes left to go, and I checked the temperature, and well, it was pulling like 155, 160. So this thing is definitely done, and well, probably a little bit overdone. So we're going to take it out and let it rest. Then we'll cut into it, give it a taste, and tell you if you should or shouldn't cook a steak in an air fryer. Let's cut into this bad boy, give it a taste. And look, a little pink, a little bit more done than what I prefer, but not awful. Ah, it's actually pretty juicy. That kind of took me by surprise. It doesn't have like that crust that you would get from like a cast iron pan or, you know, the grill marks you would get from a grill. But honestly, it's not terrible. Is it the best way to cook a steak? No. In my opinion, there's only one way to cook a steak perfectly every single time, guaranteed, and that's through sous vide. I got a video, it's a couple of years old, it's on the channel, where I sous vide a steak. I'll leave a link to it in the description. The way that I cook steak the most is gotta be out on the grill. So I suppose air frying a steak could come in handy if it's just, you know, too cold outside or nasty weather and you can't grill. Should you cook steak in an air fryer? Well, maybe. I'll touch on that in our recap. But for our final test, that I'm pretty sure will be a disaster, should you cook battered food in an air fryer? Let's test it out with onion rings. So, of course, we need a quick batter, so I'm just going to go with some flour, cornstarch, baking powder, onion powder, garlic powder, a little salt, and some milk. And, of course, some onions. Okay, so we got our air fryer preheating to 380 degrees, and we're going to batter up some of these onion rings here. And we'll probably go with maybe 5 onion rings just to start. So when you deep fry onion rings with a batter or a fish or whatever you're battering up, as soon as you put that piece of food in the hot oil, that batter is basically sealing around the onion, right? So it's not going to go anywhere. With the air fryer, that's not going to happen. So I think it's pretty much just going to drip off, all that hot air being moved around. If anything, it'll kind of pool up around the bottom of the onion ring, sort of like how it's doing on this plate. So yeah, I'm not expecting this to go very well, but let's just do it to make sure. Okay, preheated. I say for oil, we're just going to spray the bottom here just so cleanup hopefully is a little easier. And let's put in our battered onion rings. Kind of see what happens here. 6 in there, we'll give them some space, and we'll check in 5 minutes, halfway, and see what they look like. This will be interesting, I think. Okay, so after 5 minutes, it doesn't look promising. It definitely dripped off most of the onion ring, I'm pretty sure. We are going to flip them. The batter kind of looks like it might be kind of doughy when we eat it. I don't know. We still got another 5 minutes, but yeah, it's not looking promising, guys. So up to this point, all of our tests have technically been successful. Some even surprising. But this one is definitely a failure. I guess some batter kind of stuck to the onion rings. These are not looking good. They almost look more like dehydrated onions. The batter kind of sticking to the bottom there. Yeah, kind of disappointing, but I guess not a surprise. I mean, they're cooked. The batter's crispy. Got good flavor, actually. But they're just not attractive onion rings, right? So if you want to do onion rings in the air fryer, I think you definitely got to go with the good old flour, egg, breadcrumb method. Or just buy a bag of frozen battered onion rings at the grocery store and go that route. Final thoughts and a quick recap. We'll start with toast. Can an air fryer make toast? Yes, absolutely it can. You just got to keep in mind that every air fryer is different. Some are bigger, some are smaller, some are more powerful. So you just got to find the right time and temperature for your air fryer to make toast how you like it. Test number 2, hard-boiled eggs. We absolutely saved a lot of time doing them in the air fryer compared to the traditional stovetop method, maybe 10-15 minutes. So if you really need to do hard-boiled eggs the absolute fastest way, then yeah, you can do them in the air fryer and they'll turn out fine. Then we started getting into the meats with test number 3, some ground beef. Yes, the air fryer can cook ground beef just fine. I don't think it saves any time compared to doing it in a skillet. I don't think it makes sense unless for some reason you don't have a stovetop, because it's not like you're gonna make chili in the air fryer. You know what I'm saying? Test number 4, we did a New York strip steak in the air fryer, and I gotta say, that one was the most surprising. Very juicy. Is it the best way to cook a steak? No. Will it be my new favorite way to cook a steak? No. Would I cook a steak again in the air fryer? Sure, I would. Absolutely. Probably not a whole lot, but it can be done and give pretty good results. And then finally, the disaster of the bunch, the onion rings, the battered food. Save the batter for the deep fryer. You can still make very good onion rings, fish in the air fryer that taste absolutely awesome. Just not with a wet batter. This was definitely a little bit longer video than I thought it would be. Thanks for sticking around. Give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you know someone with an air fryer, share this video with them so they know what they should or shouldn't cook. This is Cooking with Chris, and I'll catch you on the next one.